arrested for drunk driving and don't know what happens next, this video is going to lay it out from start to finish. So, number one, if you've been arrested for DUI, you likely have gotten out of jail and you probably have a piece of paper this big with you saying license suspended or it acts as your driver's license. What happens next? Okay, great question. If you're out of jail, you are going to be set for an initial hearing. Initial hearing is where the judge reads the charges out loud to you. It's historically a very important hearing. However, because people now have attorneys, everything's online. If you have a misdemeanor, the judge is going to expect the person or their attorney to waive that initial hearing. Only 2 counties I can think of where they want you there for initial hearing, and it's the exception. And sometimes clients say, Mark, I want to go to initial hearing because I want the judge to know I'm taking this serious. If you make us go to initial hearing for a judge that expects the initial hearing to be waived, it's not going to turn out the way you think. Judge is going to get irritated. They're probably going to ask me to go approach the bench and ask me, hey, you got no client control? You think I want to be here all day? So if we can waive it, we are going to waive it. Now, it's not always possible for level 6 felony. Most counties make you go for a level 6 felony, but some allow you to waive that as well. The first hearing is not very traumatic, but they're going to ask you what's going on. We want to make sure you're out of jail. We want to make a good first impression. That first hearing is our first chance to try to save a driver's license. And we want to act fast because the law in Indiana states certain things must be done at that initial hearing. Otherwise, you can't ask for it. Some counties are very strict about that. And if you go past initial hearing, they're going to say, well, Mark, that was an option at the first hearing, but it's not an option anymore. If you're watching this video and you've already gone to initial hearing, not all hope is lost. We can try to do some backtracking in some friendly counties and whatnot. But ideally, you want to have an attorney for that first hearing because we want to get the ball rolling. And at this law firm, we're going to have you do 1 or 2 things before that first hearing to maximize your chances of having a successful first hearing and trying to get your driver's license activated. If you don't do anything, or if you let the situation play out by itself, your driver's license will be suspended at that first hearing. But Mark, I have to drive for work. But Mark, I have to support my family. But Mark, I help the orphans. If you don't take proactive measures, you lose your license at that first hearing. And most first-time offenders, that is the hardest thing to grasp. I haven't been convicted. How can they punish me? It's not fair. I don't agree with this. The driver's license suspension is the most difficult concept for law-abiding citizens to understand. And I agree, it does not seem fair, but the law is 100% against us, and the law does allow them to take that driver's license if a person blew 0.08 or greater, or there's drug either active or metabolite in their blood. And then some judges say even being arrested for DUI is enough to suspend the driver's license. I don't agree with that last one, but I have to deal with the realities and try to give these judges what they want. Now, a lot of judges, but not all, will allow a person to drive for life's necessities, work, school, stuff like that. Some judges are more lenient than others, working back. You can stop at a grocery store or gas station on that exact route. Some will say, okay, you can go to the hospital, you can take your kids to school, you can go to the gym, but it's completely discretionary with the judges. And some judges don't allow it at all. Those are getting fewer and far between. Some judges will only allow a person to drive if they've done things before that first hearing, which we will have you do. So keep that in mind. You want to make a good first impression because first impressions, they matter. Well, it may not be fair, but they matter. And the things you do earlier in time appear to be more genuine than the things you do later. So we want to get the ball rolling as soon as possible. So that first hearing is going to be waived, but we still want to do a bunch of different things by that first hearing date. If it's felony, plan on attending unless your attorney tells you you don't have to attend. After that first hearing, the prosecutor will get discovery to us. They don't have a time limit, usually within 30 days of the arrest, but sometimes they get more time than that, but they have no incentive to get it quicker than that. So we will get discovery. We'll share that with you. We can start investigating our end, and then we'll keep you updated. There's going to be at least 1 or 2 pretrial conferences, and then at that point, there's going to be a decision. Are we going to do a trial, or are we going to do some sort of plea agreement? And all sorts of negotiations back and forth. We will guide you the entire way. But that is kind of like the way this works. Arrest, initial hearing, pretrial conferences, and then a trial or a plea agreement. If you hire this law firm, we will be with you every step of the way. You'll never be by yourself. Every client here has a partner assigned to their case. They also have a paralegal. You can always text and call me too. But the reality is this is a jarring experience for the average person, and the whole thing does not seem fair. And I'll be the first to admit it isn't fair. It's completely stacked against you. That's why you need the absolute best attorney you can to deal with this. We have other videos on the driver's license process and what actually happens with all this. And then if you have a refusal, it's a whole different ballgame. Other videos on that. But if you have questions about DUI, particularly your first DUI, what's going to happen, how it's going to play out, give us a call, 317-632-3642. Me and my law firm, we will talk about DUI defense all day, every day. It is a passion of ours. And the most important thing, though, remember to always plead the fifth.